judges. We are delighted to be able to present our ideas and opinions today on our assigned topic under the collective team name of 75% Cheesecake. So before we begin, I'd like to introduce the members involved in the creation of our assignment today. Meet the committee. Come over here. So first off, I am Liu Kiernan, Tommy Mom, and next in line are Fanny Golden. So before we actually begin though, one more thing. I'd like to show you something. Take a look at this painting. Why don't you ponder a bit on it? Maybe think about the composition, how the subjects are arranged. Or think about the muddy ground, the plus the background and the foreground. Or think about the intact dynamic play behind every brushstroke. I'll give you a moment. Okay, I'm impatient. I don't know for sure, and I don't want to interact with anyone today, so I'm not going to ask you any questions. So I'm just going to take a guess. I'm guessing that at least one of you found the skeleton there as the soldier's late comrade that previously perished in battle. Another may have found the skeleton as the embodiment of death itself. And someone might have already found this, a correlation between this image and an eternity. The answers may vary greatly, and such is the simplistic beauty of creativity. What you can see here is creativity just doing its work, creating different links between ideas or just completely innovating new ones. And that actually brings us to our topic here today. Should schools focus more on arts and creativity? Yes, please clap. How do you think 75% of cheesecake? So that we can actually get into the presentation, here's the agenda. First part will be definitions brought to you by Fanny.
So, painting is self-discovery. Every good artist paints how he is. This quote by Jackson Pollock highlights how deeply personal art can be. Art isn't just about technique, it's about exploring who we are. In the respect of this quote, art isn't just about demonstrating beauty or tangible substance. It's about helping students like us exploring who we are, like understand and express themselves. Art is a form of expression that transcends boundaries and speaks to the depth of human experience. Olivia Wilson's words remind us that art is universal, crossing cultures, languages, and even time. In a world that's becoming more connected, schools need to equip students with not only knowledge, but also empathy and global awareness, something no standardized test can measure. Of course, unless you want your child to turn out as a good educator, then we'll talk about that. So, coming back to the main question of this part, now that we have seen the perspective of different individuals, what is art? Well, art varies from person to person, but in short, we have rounded it down to the meaning of an expression of human creativity, imagination, and emotion through a physical medium. It can be something created to be stunning, a reflection of life, history, or society, a tool to inspire change or transform, and sometimes even how individuals connect with their inner self. To further dissect the subjective meaning of art, it has also been categorized into visual arts, literature, and lastly, performing arts. Some key examples include painting, fictions, and music. And those are the definitions and the classifications. We hope we take a note from you.
Thank you, Yanyi. Now, you may be wondering, what is our stance on art and creativity in school as a whole? Well, the answer is a resounding yes from us. We believe that art and creativity should be more focused in school because it cultivates cognitive development and mental well-being, vital skills that cannot be fully developed with academic STEM subjects alone. Still curious? Let's proceed into the next argument. Firstly, artistic and creative subjects stimulate the brain and enhance cognitive skills. While STEM subjects can also develop the mind, it often follows a rigid structures and a strict evaluation criteria, making them less enjoyable. In contrast, art does not have a standard. There's no such thing as a standard or criteria for good art. This flexibility allows students to simply express their emotion and creativity on paper, which leads to them just plainly having more fun. Of course, a certain art school still rejects a certain mustache-bearing Austrian painter for not matching their standards, so exceptions to the statement still apply. However, continue on. This fund really makes the release of the neurotransmitter dopamine. Do you see the red and blue dots on the presentation? Well, this is the ventral tegmental area and the substantia nigra responsible for the creation of dopamine. And when studying a key decision-making part, the striatum, it improves cognitive flexibility and divergent thinking, helping students understand their subjects better. Now moving on to the next argument by Donen.
We shall move on to discuss our next topic. When it comes to school, the overload of work, the sheer pressure, and the burden of academic success can take a toll on the student. Art and other creative subjects provide a way for students to express themselves. And we have a chart here. As you can see, the orange columns represents the art gallery visitors, while the beige one stands for non-visitors. Categories range from health to very strong satisfaction in life, the green to wherever visitors and non-visitors will jump off a bridge given the opportunity. This depicts the level of overall health and happiness. What we can extract from this chart, the percentage of art gallery visitors are higher than non-visitors. In other words, the mental and physical health of art gallery visitors are higher and stronger than non-visitors. What we can take from this chart, art allows one to express themselves through images, objects, and music. For example, doodling on homework aids in conveying a student the satisfaction with that subject, or boredom, which doesn't seem like an amazing thing to harbor towards the subject, but it does lessen the academic pressure placed on them. Activities such as painting or songwriting might help increase one's self-esteem and confidence in their capabilities, giving them a sense of achievement outside of traditional grading systems. Team projects such as bands or plays foster teamwork and leadership, with art serving as a powerful connection between members. And such is actually the end of our presentation. To conclude, in the most simple of terms for our audience, art is a physical expression of feelings. We think art is good and should be included in schools because number one, art helps with logic. And number two, art helps with feelings and people. Here are the credits. And we would like to thank our dear audience for making our presentation.
If you actually paid any attention, you know that we had characters. Okay, let me show you them. Okay, what happened to characters? So, you see, we actually made too much material and couldn't cover it all in 10 minutes. So, but I already made a really cool animation. Actually set up. So, it's an actually cool animation and I didn't want to waste it. So, I'm leaving this to you judges. Why don't you help us by providing us with some arguments and questions to which we will gladly provide a rebuttal on your time. So yeah, judges, what say you?
Okay, thank you very much for your presentation. So this is my question. Okay, so as you mentioned, there is no standardized test to measure arts or any art form, right? So if we incorporate arts or creativity at the school, how can we evaluate students at schools due to its distinct nature? There should not be a standardized test for me.
Okay, we prepared for this. So, ladies and gentlemen, any contenders? Going once? Going twice? We prepared for this. Okay, I'll do it. So, arts can still be evaluated and not based on the subject you. So, for example, as I mentioned previously in the opening, that it can be an intent behind art, that it can be a distinct color scheme that does not contradict or reflect cliches, and that it can be a composition. So art can be evaluated on how people place the subjects, how they color the subjects, and what the meaning behind every brushstroke. Like those can be what that can be used to standardize and evaluate art.
Okay.
We're not choosing beauty, we're just choosing what's correct.
Okay. Alright, so I have one more question. Why should we prioritize arts? Like, focus more on arts compared with other subjects? Because this is the main focus of the presentation, but I didn't really see it from your presentation now. Okay.
We also prepared for this topic.
Yeah.
So I'm saying on the school focus on art, yes, because we think that art is not really focused enough in school. The other academic STEM subjects are very, very focused, but art is still an important part of education, and we just don't think that it's focused enough in school.
Hey, classes. Okay. So basically, for the STEM subjects, it is more narrow and easier to directly apply in real life, but it doesn't help with the soft skills as much. For example, art is has a wide span of views. The emotional health aspect and the critical thinking aspect can apply to other STEM subjects as well, while also indirectly being applied to real life activities.
short questions. You say art we can say a hobby rather than a subject because we are able to appreciate art without having to study it. That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't care for this.
Oh.
Okay, so do you think that schools should try to promote student hobbies? Because hobbies can also be applied to more diverse careers in real life. Art can simply turn from something that you do every day to escape the death of math school to, well, getting commissions and being paid. So yeah, I think that schools should focus on hobby because of its hobby aspect, and then also because of the many benefits that come with hobby. Promote hobby because of hobby, and also because of hobby. Positive.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, 25%. Thank you, you did a great job.